Every first-time DM has the same major worry: did I prepare enough? Absolute beginners with the game have even more to worry about given the mountain of rules they'll be responsible for knowing. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. Everyone was once a first-time DM. And based on my own experiences, here are 5 reliable strategies to running your first campaign. Hi, I'm Alex. Welcome to my channel where I talk about all things related to running successful and fun D&D adventures, even for absolute beginners. From BBEG design to world building tips, we cover it all. I've been a forever DM running my own homebrewed campaign for the past 10 years. If you want to know if you've prepared enough for your first campaign as a DM, then let's roll some dice. Number 1, have a session 0 with your players. Like any relationship, communication is key here. This is your first opportunity to connect with your players and learn about their expectations for the game. For example, some groups really lean into the hack and slash lifestyle while others enjoy the thrill of discovery. Defining what they'd consider to be a successful session or campaign is very useful for new DMs. Another consideration is figuring out what style of gameplay they're most interested in. A high fantasy Lord of the Rings spoof will play out very differently than a futuristic murder mystery. Don't forget also to touch base with all your players about any hard boundaries they may have around sensitive topics. That's just being polite. Number 2, coordinate one-on-ones with each player about their character. Why is that necessary? Well, by understanding the PC's strengths and weaknesses, you can tailor each session to allow for each PC to shine. If the group's rogue is the only character that understands a language, then throw in a mysterious note written in that script. If the fighter has a military background, perhaps a garrison can be added to the town that would allow for more meaningful interactions. Many new DMs are so focused on running the story of the game that they forget knowing the PCs is an essential part of providing a fun experience. Number 3, establish an area to run your first session. Usually this is just a small town, maybe a simple dungeon to run through. Don't worry about building out the entire world at once or else you're just going to get boxed in. Instead, I like world building somewhat organically as the story calls for it. In the beginning, just let your PCs run around in their ordinary, well-understood world. Number 4, make a ritual of game night. I found it helpful to designate a day of the week that works for everyone and then keep it there. Moving the day around to accommodate shifting schedules will quickly spiral out of control and you'll spend all your time trying to align calendars. With the groups I've run, people enjoyed running a session with partial attendance much more than if I canceled or had to move the session altogether. Along the lines of having a ritual, when I was hosting, I always tried to do something fun with house rules. For example, every time a health potion was drunk, a real drink had to be taken at the table. Little experiential things like that can really elevate a normal game night into something memorable. Number 5, plan out the adventure story up to a point. Now, what that point is exactly is the tricky part. You gotta understand how likely your players are to throw a regular heroic journey right off the rails. Since D&D is a collaborative storytelling exercise, every person at the table will have some influence over the development of the adventure. Stick to major themes and details around areas and NPCs the characters will encounter, but if you're counting on a specific outcome based on your PC's actions, then you're just counting on being disappointed. So there you have it, my top 5 strategies to prepare for your first campaign. Remember, the most important goal should always be to have fun at the table. As long as that's accomplished, you'll be sure to have a successful campaign. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, comment Dungeon below to let me know to make more videos like this. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified anytime I post another video on this channel.